Okay, so first off, let me just discuss with you how you can compute for the VLSM variable subnet mask or IPS subnetting when the given is just a CIDR, CIDR or just a subnet mask. But the first thing you need to learn is you need to remember that this is a computer language, and as we all know, computer language deals with binary. And if we try to jot down the binary increment, we have 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So the reason why I jotted this one down, this is what our octet or IP address would look like. So if we try to compute for each, you'll be able to easily determine which octet, what number of bits does it have. Okay, so since we're trying to look for, let's say for example, /28 as our CIDR or subnet mask, look for or compute for the network address, assignable range, and broadcast address of this particular number. You have to remember that we have 4 dedicated octets for our IP address, and each octet, of course, contains 8 bits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And IP address is separated by a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last octet. There. And since we're trying to look for 28, if you try to put in ones in here and add all of the following, we have 8, 16, 24. So we have 25, 26, 27, 28, and then the rest should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, these octets here, since they're all ones, we understand that this is dedicated to your network. This is the network side, while this is the host side. What we need to focus more on for the computation of our variable subnet mask is on the host side. So we can actually just put in here all of this into a equivalent to an X, because we understand that these are all ones full octet. Okay, so it wouldn't be confusing for us when we try to compute for the following. And we also need to draw a line here, which is where our division, the imaginary line, should be. And the imaginary line usually is drawn between the 1 and the 0. So if that's the case, then we have to add this. We have to add this for our broadcast address. And the bit equivalence of this 0 is 1, 2, 4, 8. And if we try to add all of them, this is equivalent to 15. Okay? Just have to remember this, that this bit's equivalent to 15. We'll be using this later on. But what you really need to understand is that you need to use this one, since this is where we started. This is where 1 started for our octet. This is the number of the increment that we would be using for our network address. And what's this number? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So our network address now should be incremented to 16. Okay, so let's try and do that. Network address x dot x dot x dot 16, x dot x dot x, 16 plus 16, that's 32, x dot x dot x dot 48, and so on. Okay, so 48 plus 16, that's the next network address, and so on. So for the broadcast address, all you need to do is just add this number to your network address host. Okay, so how do we do that? X dot x dot x dot 15 plus 16, that's 31. x.x.x.32 plus 15, that's 47. Or if you try to check and see, we usually just subtract one host from the next network address to get the broadcast address. Okay? If you try to check, 48 minus 1 host, that's 47. 32 minus 1 host, that's 31. And last but not least, 48 plus 15, that gives us 63. x.x.x.63. Okay, so we now have network address and the broadcast address for the following CIDR or subnet. But how do we compute for the assignable range or IP range? It's quite easy actually. All you need to do is you just need to add 1 for the network address, add 1 host for the network address, subtract 1 host for the broadcast address, and you have your IP range. Okay, so that's 16 plus 1, 17, 2, 31 minus 1, 30. So that's the assignable range for your network address, for your first network address. For your second network address, we have 32 plus 1, that's 33. 47 minus 1, that's 46. So that's going to be the assignable IP range for your second network address. And for the last network address, 48 plus 1, that's 49. For the last host address, we have 63 minus 1 host, that's 62. And there you have it. This is how simple we compute for the following addresses. So for the network address, IP address, broadcast address, if and only if the given is only a CIDR, subnet for your IP address.